Calling our meeting to order at 9:01 a.m. At this time, we will have the invocation by Lynn Haven Police Department Chaplain, Chaplain Cameron.
Psalm 3:5 says, I lay down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. Please bow your heads with me and let us pray. Father God, we come to you today in the precious and priestly name of Jesus. We adore you, Lord, for the great and mighty things you've done. We praise you in anticipation of things yet to come. We seek forgiveness for our transgressions, God, and ask you continue guiding and strengthening us. That in your perfect mercy and grace you would uphold us with a willing spirit. Lord, bless the leaders in this room. Father, give them wisdom as they go about the duty of administrating this city of Lynn Haven. Remind them, O God, that all concepts of truth, justice, honor, nobility, compassion, and mercy are merely imperfect reflections of a perfect Father's love. Prop them up with a bold and courageous spirit and allow them to be the light on the hill that you have called us all to be. We lie down and sleep. We wake again. Lord, you have sustained us. We pray these things today in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And all God's people said, Amen. Please stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, we have public commentary. Please give your name and address for the record. Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Bashir's 811 Louisiana Avenue. Got started too fast. I'm going to talk about the splash pads. A thing brought to Lynn Haven with deceit and untruth, leaving this commission with the burden of dealing with the fallout these ill-gotten things usually bring. Foundations built on shifting sand. A petition is going to be presented to make demands to reopen Kennesaw Splash Pad. As a citizen who doesn't use the splash pad, I feel compelled to share my thoughts. First, I trust this Board of Commissions to make the best decisions for Kennesaw when the insurance is settled and the engineers have made their decision. Second, due to the increased bathing load at Cane Griffin, maybe you should consider allowing just Lynn Haven residents and their guests on the splash pad. Also eliminate the daycares and large groups that currently overwhelm the park. Finally, I would like to see the splash pad expenses no longer come out of the general budget, but for it to become financially self-sustaining. If use fees can't pay for maintenance and employee expenses, then perhaps it should be closed. It's a nice amenity, however, it is definitely not a needed one. My children, 3 of them, grew up here in Lynn Haven without one. And then on another subject, whoever does the PowerPoints, will you remind them that lime green on white is cute, but it is impossible to read. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Additional public commentary. Ms. Butler.
They changed the password.
Hi, Glenda Butler, 415 Montana Avenue, and part of mine is about the splash pad. It doesn't matter, I want to say it doesn't matter to me whether the splash pad comes back or not. I loved it. I mean, I love the kids that go there. The skate park is an absolute no, I do not want. I don't think it should even be an option. I thank all of you for getting back with me. Mayor, I got yours this morning. Thank you very much. The petition is not a demand. The petition, and it's not really, I don't even know if you'd call it a petition. This is a list of Lynn Haven residents who want the commission to acknowledge their request And just for you to know how many people, because you probably don't know the amount of people that are against the skate park. That's all this is. It is not a demand of any kind. It is a plea, if anything. I know that there were issues at the splash pad. You have parents who don't want to obey the rules. You have, and as we continue to have the people who don't want to obey the speed limit, and the people who don't want to stop at the stop signs, and the people who go through red lights, and the people who talk on cell phones while they're driving. Vicki, as you know, we've talked about this before. It is who they are. I think part of what we have to do as a community is we need to lead by example. I don't know how we're going to do that. I mean, all we can do is do what we do. You know, you stop where it says, don't cross this line, you know, the police department or the fire trucks are going to go through. If you leave a space there, somebody's going to pull in front of you. Same thing with the utility on the side road of 12th Street. They'll pull in front of you. If they don't like you doing 25 miles an hour or 35 miles an hour, they'll pass you on a double yellow line. That I don't know what we're going to do about. But that is part of our big problem. People not following the rules. I guess the only other thing that I want to mention is if anybody needs to volunteer for anything, Covenant Care and Council of Aging are looking for volunteers. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Additional public commentary. This time we'll move on to our reports. I'll reserve mine for the end. Commissioner Peebles.
All right, so last week we had our strategic planning meeting, which was awesome. So I just wanted to publicly thank all the department heads and staff that were part of that. Learned a lot, and I really cherished that time that we had and got to learn more about the ins and outs of our vision as a city. The past few weeks I've talked to quite a few citizens about the splash pad, about water bills, about numerous things, and so I just want to say thank you to the citizens that have reached out to me. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to run for office, is I wanted to be available to talk to you, and a lot of citizens have been talking to me, so I just wanted to say thank you to the citizens that have reached out to me, and I promise to continue to be a liaison and to figure out solutions the best we can. And with that, I just wanted to again thank the staff here at the City of Lynn Haven. You guys are awesome, and keep doing what you do. And that's all I have for today.
All right, thank you. The voice of God, Commissioner Perno, welcome back.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Got the wheels spinning again, right? I'd like to thank everybody for their kind thoughts and prayers. While I had a last couple weeks, I had a pretty good surgery and got me a new genetically formed bovine valve. And so Dr. Gregory England and everyone right here at Bay Medical Sacred Heart, my wife and I, we couldn't be more indebted to the people there and how they treated us. So it was just an amazing thing. So with that, I did attend the strategic planning by telephone. And for what it was worth, I expressed a couple of ideas, and I just know at the end of the meeting, I sensed it. Jamie, you made a comment about, you know, how we can't go back on ourselves, but then the citizens bring us stuff. Sometimes it's at the 11th hour, you know, and it changes our hearts, you know, and we can't never forget the one man's plight. You know, I know during the strategic planning, I brought up a fella who's, you know, who has issues with the city, but he came and spoke to me, but I couldn't not bring his plight to before us, because we're not here to judge people, but we're here to bring their issues to light, you know. So it's one of those things that's near and dear to me. I mean, Miss Butler, I sat on your front porch. I know what you're talking about is most important to you. It's your front yard, you know. So I know the stake we've got to learn what each individual's stake in the game is with our city, and that's what they bring to us most of the time. So I just want you to know, don't stop picking up your bags or one man's bags and bringing them up before us. You know, and I know that was the point you were making when you were talking about Mr. Langford when we were in the IMPC thing. So if we all can remember that as a commission, we're doing the right thing. Just really happy to be back and talking to people, and I visited my business for the first time. I mean, you go through an enlightenment when you have one of these things happen. So I'm just happy to be before you, and I'm going to continue to work hard for you. And I love the city of Lynn Haven. Thank you. So.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Ward.
First, just want to say welcome back, Pat. Glad everything went well for you.
Thank you, Jamie.
I agree with everything you're saying. I guess my big thing is, that was one of the big things of why I wanted to start the pre-commission meetings, and that was I wanted to get so it gives more time so that residents can come and speak to us and listen to some of the things that we're discussing. I'm always free to call me, email me, contact me. Speaking of which, my next time with the commissioner is going to be a little bit earlier this month. Usually I do it after the next pre-commission meeting, but I got plans that weekend. So my next one's going to be this Saturday, the 17th of June, at 11 o'clock at Slim Chickens. Any residents welcome to come. Be happy to talk with you. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was veteran banners. Tomorrow is the deadline. If anybody wants to have a veteran banner put up on one of the poles in Lynn Haven, and they're $80. And so I actually went on Facebook and offered to sponsor 5 people that would want one. And so far I've submitted 3, and there's 2 others. I'm just waiting the paperwork and that. And of course, no pressure, but if any other commissioners or the mayor or anybody would like to, sponsor anyone, might be nice if you want to dig deep in your heart or your wallet,
I'll sponsor 5 veterans.
Whoa.
Easy. So,
no pressure.
no pressure.
No pressure.
I had read about it, but I was in the throes of what I was going through. But I've got 5 guys that hang around my business. I could easily, they don't like to pound their chest, but they've had good careers, and
Yep.
I definitely want to go on the hook for 5. So.
Yep. And since Pat didn't say it, or Commissioner Perno didn't say it, I'm going to say it. Thank you to all the city staff and first responders and dispatch for what you do. Appreciate you. And that's all I have.
Commissioner Vandergrift.
Well, I'm surprised we didn't scare Sam off after that strategic planning meeting.
I dropped the call a couple times.
There's a lot to do, isn't there, Sam? Yeah, a lot of issues to address. I guess since the last meeting, I've attended the transportation meeting, TPO meeting. Lynn Haven has 2 representatives on that committee, Pat and myself. And so we attend those meetings so that hopefully it will benefit the city of Lynn Haven. This week I will be touring the wastewater treatment plant. So it should be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to learn as much as I can about the utilities departments and the various departments so I can understand better their needs. Welcome back, Pat. We miss you when you're not sitting right there. And I can take your challenge. I don't know 5 veterans that live in Lynn Haven right now, but I am willing to offer that to our city manager, that if she knows of some, then I am also willing to sponsor 5.
And this is just for the veterans in Lynn Haven? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Guess I should have went first.
No pressure.
So I'll find a way to sponsor 5. I'm not going to say that I'll be sponsoring them, but I'll make sure that the 5 are sponsored, right? So we write the check out to the city of Lynn Haven, and it's $80, so that's $400 total, right? Okay.
Oh, we're supposed to bring a check to these meetings? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Cash can't be traced, so that might be better. I don't know. But, so yeah, we'll take the challenge of sponsoring 5 veterans. Certainly appreciate the sacrifice and service that the men and women who served in the armed forces, what they do and have done for us every day to protect our freedom. So certainly thankful for that. Just a quick briefing for my report, and then just sort of some response to the skate park splash pad issue. In regards to mayor's report, I had a chance to go to several graduations this graduation cycle, so had a chance to enjoy the North Bay Haven graduation, and so that was it was spectacular to see, and praise God that there was like the rain always cleared up before graduation, because they were all outside at Tommy Oliver Stadium. So it was always a little frantic about that, like, are we going to be able to have this graduation today? And so great graduation from North Bay Haven. Great to see the student engagement involved. And each graduation was different. Mosley had a great graduation as well. Huge graduating class. I mean, it was almost like 500 students. So you never knew when they were going to get to the end of the list of all the names. I think the names was longer than the actual ceremony in passing out the diplomas, but very proud of all of our young people that graduated, and just to hear about all the scholarships. I think with Mosley there were nearly $9 million worth of scholarships that the students received going to college, whether it was athletics, academics, military, and so that was a great thing to celebrate. And so just very proud that both of those schools are in our city. Education is very vital for us here in Lynn Haven, and it's one of the reasons people want to move back to Lynn Haven. I know after Hurricane Michael, when I had options of where to go in Bay County, my family wanted to come back to Lynn Haven because of the schools that my children were attending. And so education is very important for our families, especially our young families, and with our military families moving in as well. Also had a chance to go to the outdoor education grand opening, or groundbreaking actually. Looking forward to the grand opening there at Mosley High School. Winston Chester is named in his honor, and so he taught outdoor education there for years. Of course, he has his TV show, and so getting a chance to go to that groundbreaking was really exciting, and hearing the students talk about the different things that they're learning there at that as well. Also had a chance to go to the grand opening of the transitional living home at Anchorage Children's Home, which, although it's not at Lynn Haven, it serves all of Bay County. I'm also a board member there as well, and so it was good to see our community come together, and for them to be able to provide that transitional living. For years they've been paying rent for transitional living, and so now they were able to open those homes debt-free, to be able to provide opportunities for young ladies and their young families as they're getting ready to set themselves up for success and transition out of the situations that they're in. Also had a chance to go to the re-grand opening of Woods Field in Panama City. Of course, my church is in Panama City, and then also as a representative wanted to show some support from Lynn Haven for that as well. And so it was great to go out and actually see some of the men that played baseball there as young boys. And so to be able to see that they're coming back out and still helping teams. I went to a T-ball game there. T-ball, Wii ball is always funny to me. They don't know which way to go. They're all chasing after the same ball. I remember coaching Wii ball at Lynn Haven Sports Complex before the hurricane. And that gave me more stress than any commission meeting I've ever been to was coaching T-ball, because it was a race, but it was fun. And also had a chance to go to, and I think I saw some of the commissioners there as well, the inauguration of the new mayor commissioners there in Panama City. And so it was well attended, and just got a chance to engage with them and offer them our support and provide some encouragement to them as well. And then this past Sunday, I had a chance to attend the unity service that was hosted here by Pastors United of Bay County, which is about compilation of 20 churches, as well as about 7 to 10 community Christian organizations that work together to promote unity throughout Bay County. And so this was the 5th service they've actually hosted at Sharon Sheffield Park, and the 3rd year in a row that they've hosted services there. So thank you As a part of Passage United, thank you to city manager, staff, just everyone that made that a great event. And it's always great to see our community to come together and to celebrate the common things that we have. There's a lot of diversity and a lot of division, but thankfully we're able to come together and celebrate the diversity amidst the division. Strategic planning was a great session. Always enjoy those. I think that was my third one, and so it's always great just to get the input from everyone. We did discuss very minutely splash pad, skate park, but really more of a vision for Kensaw Park, and not necessarily limited our conversation to that. But it was just a very small conversation, which we do plan on having more conversations in the future, and desire input from our citizens on that as well. In regards to the skate park, certainly want to clarify that that is something that is not confirmed by us as the commission. We did ask our staff to go out and do an exploratory study on that for us, just to get some idea of what that will look like for us if we decided to move forward with the skate park at Kensaw. Part of that, the skate park idea came up was as I've engaged with young people in our community, especially our teens at Mosley, North Bay Haven. They bluntly asked, when are we going to get a skate park, right? And so I think one of the things that's important for us is to receive input from our young people as well. Oftentimes which is why we started the Mayor's Youth Council, which will kick back off in the fall. A lot of times we do get input from those who are older. And I'm not saying older in regards to senior, but just those who are more engaged in the community, our voting citizens. We get a lot of input from them. But what about the citizens that are going to actually be inheriting what all decisions we make as a city? And so I think sometimes their voices are overlooked, whether it's the ones at Lynn Haven Elementary or whether it's the ones at Mosley High School, that if they're citizens of our community, when we boast that we have nearly 20,000 citizens, we count the children too, and not just the registered voters. And so that was something that was brought to me by them, and I think it's been something discussed over the years. Matter of fact, I was sent this piece of information from one of our citizens from a commission meeting that was nearly 25 years ago, a little over 25 years ago in 1997, and it was about a skate park actually. It says that Virgil Duffel was present with several young men who addressed the commission concerning the possibility of building a skate park. And so several students from Mosley came, asked about a skate park, and to sum it up, basically the commission voted to proceed in working with Walter Smith in providing the land and making it available for establishing a skate park, and all the commissioners voted yes on that, with 4 commissioners voted yes, 1 commissioner voted no on that. So the idea of having a skate park in Lynn Haven is actually a promise that we as the commission have not fulfilled in the past 25 years. So maybe it doesn't have to be at Kensaw Park, maybe it's at the sports complex, maybe it's at a little pocket park. I'm not really sure where it's located, but that is something that if our commission made that promise to our community over 25 years ago, that we would do that, just like we've made the promise to focus on stormwater, and we've been focusing on that, making a promise to, make sure that we pay down our debt. We're doing that. Then that seems like that's a promise that was made that we as a commission have not fulfilled. And so that's my report for today. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. Kiki. Thank you. Okay. Chris Lightfoot, Stormwater Update.
Good morning. Just a quick update on a few things that you all have approved in the past few months. Our HMGP projects are moving along quite well, starting to see our 60% plans coming in for those. Pine Forest is are not as far along as the others, just because there was some more in-depth work that we found we needed to do to do that project the right way. So a lot of good coming out of those, and moving forward with those designs. Our legislative stormwater project that you all approved last meeting, we awarded the outfall 6, 12, and 29 to Gulf Coast Utility Contractors. Had our pre-con on that, and their notice to proceed is June 19th, which is next Monday, so they'll get started on that pretty quick. Our concrete canvas, the CRA approved the $95,000 in this budget year to move forward with CRA areas. The shipment came in, and we will begin to install that here in the CRA. Our first area is going to be Railroad Alley, which begins at 7th Street and goes behind Badcock there onto 6th Street. So we'll get that ditch canvassed up.
That's great.
and then just our fiscal year 23 maintenance map of what we've accomplished so far.
Good. Commissioner Perno.
Sorry, sir. That area you're talking about, 7th Street behind Badcock there, I remember in Frederick, that area really filled up fast, and other areas around town. So will that alleviate that road?
That will help tremendously drain that area, and the 7th Street project is now complete as well. So we will have that, the outfall down 7th Street, it's done, and then we will have that ditch canvassed up and really help drain that area faster.
That's good.
In regards to the maintenance, of course, you told us in strategic planning, but I guess just for public record, how many miles of ditches have we dug so far this year?
So since you all approved the ditch digging contract, between the contractor and city staff, we've dug over 100,000 feet of ditches, and that was in fiscal year 21 is when that began.
Okay, all right. And in regards to the concrete canvas, do you know how many feet we're going to be able to put down of that with the CRA funding? I can't remember. What?
So the 95,000, I can't remember exactly how many square feet that was. I can go back and pull the quote. Of course, it's not going to cover every ditch in the CRA, but it is a great start. We'll take care of the railroad alley ditch, and then we will branch off from there to other major artery ditches.
Okay. And we had talked about outfall projects. Is there a projection of when we might start those?
So the outfalls that you all approved for that phase, they will begin June 19th, and then the other phase, it's still in permitting. It's with the state and with the Corps. Those permits, we could get them back any day, or it could be another 12 months. We're dealing with the Corps on permits. Army, you know.
Got it. And I guess, could you briefly explain the significance of outfalls? Like, of course, you know, our citizens understand about the ditches and other sort of stormwater help that we have in the city.
Absolutely. So the outfalls is basically the ultimate ending of the stormwater system, where everything drains to and drains out into the bay or a bayou. So cleaning those or widening them or enlarging them will help drain everything faster and make sure that everything is opened up for everything to drain to.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Lightfoot?
I just want to say thanks for being creative with this and looking for, you know, innovative ideas to do this. I truly think that this is going to be a game changer for us as we put more and more of this. And I know this is just a start, but I think in the future it's going to help a lot. And the only thing I would ask you is, if you don't mind, letting us know when they start installing them, where they're installing them. I'd like to just come out and watch if I could.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
thanks.
Any additional questions?
You're doing such a good job with stormwater, you're not going to like neglect it now that you got other duties, right?
There's plenty to go around.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Yep, okay. So a couple of things to also cover. Thank you to Pastors United. Sunday was amazing for the city of Lynn Haven, for the community from all over Bay County. I think that is surely something we need more of, and the unity service was really nice. Glad you're back. We have been in touch from the time you went into the hospital to the time you're out, and so thank you for just caring about the city so much that I finally had to say, Commissioner Perno, you're going to have to focus on getting well and stop worrying about the city, and he does do that. We also met with Representative Griffith about the projects for the future coming up for the city of Lynn Haven. We went on and gave him some projects that we really wanted to focus on, and we'll be meeting again with him and submitting some very big infrastructure projects that we also talked about during strategic planning. I think it's going to be awesome when we get those things in place. Pickleball courts are still not yet open to the public. We just have a few tweaks to make so that we can open it up, but I know it's going to be great when we do. We are also working on the final stages of our stormwater assessment with Stantec. We have a few tweaking of the numbers we'll have to do, and we also are bringing back some additional things that you actually ask us to look at. One being vacant land, one being we may add another tier, let you look at that as well. So that'll be coming before the commission in the next meeting or the meeting after that. Registration is open for fall ball. Fall ball has continued to grow, so please go on and sign up for that. One of the great things that Sports and Recs is doing also is that we're really partnering with a lot of the businesses and schools within the community, and so they're having a free summer camp. It's a baseball camp, and we're partnering with Mosley baseball team, and they're going to help us host this camp. It started on the 12th at Lynn Haven Sports Complex from 5 to 7:30, and so it's been really, really good. Hope you all are attending that. Remember, we are very much on the last leg of accepting vendors and applications for the 4th of July parade. That is one of our largest parades that we have within probably Bay County, and we're looking forward to again this year. We've already talked about the banners, the hero banners, and so what I will do is kind of take all of the ones that you all have said that you will donate 5, and there are surely some people we can contact and make sure that they know that there's a sponsorship in place, get their photo so that they can be a part of it. Just for clarification, they are all around the city. They're in Sheffield and in other poles along 77, and every year those banners will go up. And so it's not just for this year. Every year they'll probably go up a little bit sooner than expected in the coming year. Adult kickball starts tonight, actually, and we have 14 teams. If any of you want to join any of the kickball teams, you're more than happy to do that. If you didn't notice...
Yeah, we'll all come back broken.
If you didn't notice, the city logo is on the new building. All of them are up. It is a great feeling. We're almost near and finished to the finish line of that. Remember that the city is closed on June 19th for Juneteenth, and my table talk will be June 29th at the Garden Club. So please, I'd love to see you there. And I just want to thank the Lynn Haven Heritage Society for putting on and hosting the Memorial Day on the 30th. It was a great event, and really appreciate that from Mr. and Mrs. Walker and the entire Heritage Club. And that is my report.
Thank you, City Manager. City Attorney.
Right, not much to report. We're going to be bringing back the golf cart ordinance like we talked about. It won't go into effect until October, but again, I think it's a good idea to get that in front of the public for, the 2 readings that we'll need for the ordinance. Still watching the governor's office to see what other bills he may veto. There's the Senate Bill 170, which is, part of it was good, but part of it puts all those potential penalties on the city if some business thinks they were negatively affected by an ordinance. So I know there's been a call for him to veto that, so everybody's kind of watching that, and that's all I've got. Any questions for you guys?
Now, remember, that was one of the bills that we talked about when we went to go meet with our legislators, was that Bill 170. I think it was SB 170 at the time, whenever we went to go talk with them about that. So we'll see what happens with that. Do we have any questions for the city attorney while he's here? I know there was something from the strategic planning meeting we were supposed to ask you when you came today. I cannot remember what that question was. Do y'all remember what that question was? We reserved it because we didn't want to interrupt you during your day. Okay. But if I remember before we leave.
Call anytime. That's fine.
No, we can't just call anytime.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Thank you, Miss Amanda.
It was regarding the comprehensive plan, and our deadline is February for our 7 years, our evaluation and appraisal. But it used to be that every 7 years you would, have to send the changes to them by that deadline. But the way I'm reading it now, it looks as though what they're saying is that you have to transmit the letter to them, telling them whether you're going to make changes or not. And if you are going to make changes, then you have an additional year to make those changes.
Yeah, I think that's right. They kind of lightened up it used to be you had to do the full year report
Yeah.
and have it all in advance and all that stuff. They lightened that up several years ago.
And I know it's a letter, I know now because the last time we didn't have any changes.
Right.
And we just sent a letter saying we don't have any changes. But now we do. We have statutory changes that we have to make. And it's also an opportunity for the commission to look at the whole thing and to take out anything that's redundant. But can you check to make sure that we only have to have the letter to them by February telling them that, yes, we are going to make changes, and then that gives us the following year to actually get the changes to them?
I'll do it.
Thank you. That was it.
Any other questions come to mind while the city attorney is here? And anything else? I do know we had asked city manager and staff to follow up with you regarding an ordinance for the rails or trails. So I know that we're going to do a little research on that.
Yes.
Just in a general research, I haven't really seen any ordinances on rail or trails. Did you do it? Was anybody able to do any?
I didn't look.
Yeah, I just did a quick Google and I didn't see any other Florida cities with ordinances for their rails or trails. They probably do, but just in a quick Google, I didn't see that. So,
Just to regulate what's
Yes.
on it.
yes,
I'll get with you.
to regulate that. And then I did talk with some bikers about the e-bike scenario, and so they sort of like,
Yeah, I mean, it's funded by DOT. but
Wanted to
it's
talk
the
about
city's. It's our, it's our, we own it to regulate it. I mean, even though it was funded by DOT, so if we wanted to put some restrictions on there, we could. Okay.
Yeah, we're kicking around the e-bikes and stuff.
Okay.
all right, so we'll let you all work on that, and we'll look forward to seeing that. All right, thank you, sir. This time we'll move on to our consent agenda. Are there any concerns about the consent agenda? Approval of minutes, 5/23/23, approval to declare truck 33 as surplus and auction off, and approval to award the IFB 2223-15 to Florida Pest Control for pest control services for multiple locations. Any concerns about the consent agenda? Is there a motion for it?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Perno, second by Commissioner Ward. City Manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandegrift?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes, motion passed. Moving on to our old business, discussion and only review of Chapter 7 of the International Property Maintenance Code. Are there any updates that we would like to make to any discussion on Chapter 7?
It's all fire code, right? It's all fire safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fire safety.
We just have to adapt it to our specific codes, correct?
Yes. So if we would do that, if we would just make sure that it's all adapted to what we already have, similar to what we do with the building codes, which follow, state, federal mandates, and so if we would just make sure that we do that with our international property maintenance code as well.
I have some stuff on it, Mayor, if that's okay.
Sure.
I actually have a really long list, but
Yeah. So I'll ask the fire inspector and chief number 2 to come in if there are some questions you have.
Fire away. Well,
Okay.
But
So on section 701.2, it talks about there's the verbiage of occupy as an owner occupant. I think that should be taken away there, and maybe add something there that talks about that the owner occupant may be exempt, because there's certain things in this chapter that are obviously for businesses and rental properties that are to keep them safe, but there's things like passageways should not be obstructed or whatever. Well, I don't think that we should tell citizens what they should be able to do in their own hallway. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's smart to make this known that it's mostly for non-owner occupants. And I have a list of a bunch of the different ones that I'd like to reword it to where we say, I would like to say, at the end of it, say something like owner occupant is exempt from this. So just so that there's no confusion, because if there's certain sections of this code that it could be read as, well, in someone's house, they have to do this or that, when really that's not what it's talking about in the first place. It could really save us as a city a lot of time and not tell someone what to do in their own home as long as they're, keeping people outside of their own home safe.
I think we did do sort of a sweep of that for the IMPB. We just haven't had it. We don't have the updated redactions or the updated corrections, but we did, I think, in discussion, just sort of do a general sweep of if it's intended to focus specifically on businesses and rental properties, then let's let that language read that. We did do that in previous chapters, which is make those updates as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we pretty much did that for chapter 4 through 6.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we could possibly do that for this, or from my understanding, they already follow the National Fire Protection, NFPA, I can't remember what it stands for, and maybe just delete it in its entirety since this pretty much for the most part mirrors that. So, and maybe
Yeah, almost the entire thing is it's like reference the International Fire Code or whatever, so.
So I might just be worthwhile to delete the entirety because they pretty much follow the NFPA anyways, but.
Yeah, if this is probably the base minimum for all nations, the international code. So we have the NFPA, which is for the nation of the United States, and we have Florida specific, which is for Florida. Now, this would be the base code. You can't go below this. You can go above, more stringent than this, but you cannot drop below it. Same thing with Florida. If we do something here at the city of Lynn Haven, we can make our own codes and ordinances, but we cannot drop below the minimum state of Florida requirements. We have to either go above or equal to.
Are you confident with what's already in place?
Yes, and I'll tell you this too, we do not do anything in residential. Everything I do here for the fire department is strictly commercial. The building official, he enforces the codes as far as the building standards of a new home. But I believe once he's left that home, I can't tell you what to put in your house or what not to put in your house. I don't know if code enforcement is allowed to go in people's homes and do that or not, but as far as what goes on in home, I can't tell you what to do there.
I like Commissioner Warwick's idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Did that take care of your long list?
It did.
Commissioner Vandergrift.
I think the citizens probably need to be reminded that we meet regularly to discuss just this information. And so a lot of time goes into every chapter of this. And we appreciate your input and your suggestions, and we welcome another perspective.
All right, anything else on number 11? All right. And so if we would, once we get through all the chapters, if we would, I guess, have a printed, or if you would give us an update to what all that looks like, that way we can go through it and just give a cursory review of everything, make sure that it's reading the way that we hope that it read before we bring it back to vote again. And then we could make that available online for the citizens if they have any questions about it as well. All right, number 12, new business discussion and possible approval to upgrade the SCADA hardware and implementation in the amount of $78,553 for the water treatment plant through our sole source provider, Viper Automation LLC. Deputy Director.
Here we go again. So yes, this is our SCADA hardware upgrade through Viper Automation. The city's been using the Viper Automation system ever since they put SCADA in originally. And as the car states, just the existing hardware is out of date. It's time to upgrade it to continue growing our SCADA system and keeping up with the software and the technology we need.
Any questions for Mr. Lightfoot?
I just have a comment. If you've not had an opportunity to go and look at that software, it's pretty amazing, everything that it can do.
Yes. We hope at this time next year, too, to be able to show you all some lift stations on the SCADA system and move those forward as well.
All right, awesome. Any other questions, Mr. Lightfoot? All right, any commentary from the public? Is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Yeah, Mr. Peebles is his first motion there. All right, awesome.
Now, do we have that on record? That
Yeah. I didn't want to tell you when to do it because then it'd be like I'm in, I got in trouble the last time I told somebody to make a motion. So motion by Commissioner Peebles, second by Commissioner Perno. City Manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandergriff?
Yes.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes, motion passed. Discussion and possible approval, task order number 3 with Panhandle Engineering in the amount of $91,495 for design and utility relocation for the Highway 390 Phase 4 construction project for the Mill Bayou mandated by FDOT.
So this project here is for the Phase 4 of the Highway 390 widening project, and this is for the Mill Bayou Bridge replacement. The city has a sewer force main and a reuse main that has to be relocated as part of this project. Unfortunately, it's another one of our 390 projects that will not get any, or that we have to pay for out of pocket for DOT stuff. So this is the engineering for it, $91,495, and the estimated construction cost of the project is $774,000. Again, once we get it designed and bid out, those numbers may come in hopefully lower, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, any questions for Mr. Lightfoot?
Just so you know, we did share that with Representative Griffith about unfunded mandates.
Yes.
They cost not only the county millions, cities millions, and that actually comes out of our budget when those are unfunded mandates. And so, those are the kind of things we will be looking to our representatives and legislators to save the city money so we can use it for our citizens.
And we obviously can't say, no, we're not going to do that.
Absolutely not.
I mean, we could. We just want to have utilities. All right. Any other? Thank you for that, City Manager. I forgot that we did bring that up, and he was supportive of that and said he would, from the state level, look to see what he could try to do to help with that statewide, because it does cost us money to have to move those projects with no assistance from the one that's making the mandate. Any commentary from the public? Is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Vandergriff. City Manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandergriff?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes, motion passed. Number 14, discussion and possible approval to cancel the Pepsi contract and accept the Coke contract for the next 5 years. Director of Sports and Recreation, you just bringing us problems, man.
No, this is for exclusive rights to sell their product at the sports complex. That's the new 5 ball fields and gymnasium, in return for 5 wireless scoreboards that we're needing at the sports complex currently.
All right, any questions for Mr. Ward?
Yes. In reading the background information, I noticed that obligates us to purchase a certain quantity of products. Okay.
Which?
That's standard for no matter who you choose?
Yes, ma'am. It's standard. So Coke actually says we just need to reach a volume of 3,850 cases, where Pepsi is just giving us total 7 years. We have to fully serve our full 7 years. Coke gives us the option of 5 years with an option renewal of 2 additional years to meet the 3,850 cases.
All right, any additional questions?
So is this what we work with our vendor that sells the product?
Yes.
That the concession stand and that? And the other question I have, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but reading through this, it sounded like Buffalo was supposed to give us a scoreboard of some sort. Do you know the history on that?
Well, I think the commission approved this in 2017, and then Hurricane Michael hit, so we went without scoreboards for a while. And we did have to make sure that that scoreboard at King Griffin was in place. And we just felt like that this was a better deal. If you go back to the minutes, when the commission approved this, some citizens actually said, we probably want to either give both the opportunity, so this is a great place to kind of switch out again and give the opportunity to Coke.
So do they give us a scoreboard? Is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, additional questions for Mr. Ward?
What happens if we don't meet the 3,800 cases?
We would just continue to sell until we meet the 3850.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, how much is a wireless scoreboard cost?
A little over $4,000. So for the 5, it'd be right at $23,000. Everything. Yeah. So we're saving $23,000 on that.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, additional questions? All right, any commentary from the public? Yes, sir.
Johnny Bashir, 811 Louisiana Avenue. As y'all know, I prefer Coke, but that's beside the point. In 2017, there was a contract awarded to Pepsi for 10 years to provide or have exclusive right of sale of Pepsi products. And this is short of 10 years. I just want to make sure that canceling this contract doesn't bring us into any legal issues with Pepsi or Buffalo Rock.
No.
Right. Well, and I think our stance, and I've talked to Vicki about this, is there really has not been performance by either side since the hurricane, right? But there's not been new.
Yes. And not only that, if you read the agreements that the city does are much in-depth than what that agreement that was signed in 2017. It was a one-page. They had no rights in there. It was, it didn't have any of our boilerplate. And really, when we went out to look at both products, this was a great time to put a real agreement in place. And they understand that, and they already know that as well.
All right, any additional questions commentary from the public? Is there a motion from the commission?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Perno. City Manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandegrift,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson.
Yes, motion passed. Meeting adjourned.